Hello, Holly Ludeman here, your host on today's episode of Behind the Collective. Now, today's episode is part one of a KPCA series proudly sponsored by Milne Feeds. And in this episode, I'm going to chat to Bron Christensen, the CEO of KPCA, the Kimberley Pilbara Cattlemen's Association, and Lux Lethbridge from Warrawagine Cattle Co. Now, I've been up in the Kimberley and the Pilbara and was lucky enough to join KPCA as part of their inaugural Stockpersons Leadership Forum. And this leadership forum was really drawn out of a vision from Lux, and he and Bron got together along with other members of KPCA to make it come to life. So in this first part, we'll chat to them about why they thought it was so important and how it all came about. I'm here chatting to Bron, CEO of the Kimberley Pilbara Cattlemen's Association.
Mm-hmm.
And Bron, we've just been part of a Leaders Forum up here in Broome with some amazing students, I suppose we should say. So just wanted to have a chat before we interview some of the other presenters and get a bit of a rundown about what the event was about, how you thought it went, and where to from here.
Yes, Holly, it was a huge couple of days, and the result of it was a culmination of an idea really from one main person, which was Lux Lethbridge, who I think you're going to be talking to later on, and it came about from our conference last year where just a group of like-minded people were sitting on the table, started a discussion, looking around and thinking, gee, we're starting to get a lot of young people coming to our conference, which is great, but we need some more, and that a lot of the topics we cover in our conference are fairly blue sky. We like to find out what's happening with the industry, but the idea came about that we really need to be supporting these young leaders more, and also the history there of some of the people who are discussing it, that their history coming up through the ranks as well. So I guess that's how the idea was born. A conversation becomes a discussion becomes a committee, and all of a sudden you have 2 days.
Wow, you really get things done, right?
Yeah. We try.
And I think that the themes of the day will come out when we interview some of the presenters and Lux. But I know this took a lot of effort to put together, so your members should be really happy, and a huge commitment from the people that then put forward the people to attend.
Yeah, we ended up with a bit of a committee and some younger people and some young leaders particularly who sort of guided us on where they thought the content should be. We had a few stipulations, particularly coming from some of the more experienced people saying that, we really want to address that. How do you go from being one of the boys or one of the girls to, basically managing your mates? So how do you actually take that transition? What strategies do you have for good communication? And really about getting a network of young leaders together so that they've got a really good cohort of support.
Well, we definitely saw that over the few days, seeing that great networking.
Yes,
and
we did.
Energy in the room was infectious. It was great to be part of. And so the event came together really quickly, and obviously that was thanks to some great sponsors, including Milne.
Of course.
But who else do we need to give a shout out to?
Look, we're very grateful to Milne for bringing you up, and I know as soon as you heard about it, you jumped on board and said, I want to be part of it. And look, we reached out to Stuart Austin as well, who is our main facilitator and MC through both days. And Stuart just went, yep, this is of Audacious Ag. He says, this is what I want to do. So he could really see the value in it. He's very, very, one of his life's ambition is bringing young people along and keeping them in the industry. So Stuart donated his time for us, so we're very, very spoilt with that.
That's incredible. He was so generous.
I know, wasn't he?
And we'll interview Stuart as well, and he was inspiring.
He was, very much so. I think all of us that went there learnt a bit, no matter how mature or how experienced you are as a leader. But we also had Rio Tinto come on. We've got the Northern Hub, which covers the hub drought resilience for northern Western Australia and the Northern Territory. DECRA was there, so we really appreciate DECRA being there. Safe Farms WA. We had our local company, which is just starting to bring new vets into the region, Alliance Ag, so it's really great that we've got some local companies coming on. RTA, I think, were one of our first sponsors. They put their hand up straight away, as they always do.
Always
They're
very
a great
supportive.
Road Trains Australia. We
Shout
love
out
Road
to the
Trains
boys,
Australia,
yeah.
absolutely. Harvest Road were very supportive in that with Barb Bishop, who we did a lot of work with Myers-Briggs. They were saying, well, look, we're bringing Barb over anyway, so we can assist you with that, which was amazing support. Elanco came on board as well, and Datamars as well. So we had quite a few sponsors. A few, I think, are saying now that they'd love to come on next year, so we're looking for bigger and better next year.
It will be, and Barb Bishop will also have a chat too through this chat, and again, an incredible resource for the participants to have been exposed to.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the biggest take homes that I got from speaking to the participants was that ability to have a look in the mirror after their sessions with Barb.
Very
so.
true.
You had a chat around a conference table last year.
We did.
You pulled this together in 8 weeks or something amazing.
Yes.
You've had some incredible sponsors come on board, and now we've had 37 to 40 amazing participants in the room that all left on a bit of a high last night.
Yeah, they did. It was left the dinner fairly late last night. They were all still going. I don't know where they get the energy from. But look, and credit to them that they're all still having a great night and saying, what time are you leaving in the morning? Oh, yeah, no, we'll have to leave about 3 to get back for work. So it just shows the dedication and the commitment to the industry that they do have. But look, the feedback last night was excellent, and feedback forms have been brilliant. I've got to say probably one of the key things that we're really pleased with is that networking, both between the cohort themselves, but also between themselves and the speakers, or particularly the station managers who were there presenting yesterday, where the station managers, there were no station managers in the room until the final session. And last night, these young people were really sort of making sure that they had those relationships with them so that they could actually utilise them in the future, which is one of the key outcomes we wanted.
I love that. And the panel sessions throughout the day had some young people presenting.
They did.
And then we had the kind of senior leaders of the industry come in at the end of the day. And it was interesting that, when we talked to Stu, how we'll reflect on that some of the themes were reiterated on the different panels. So that was really powerful, I think, for the team, and incredibly inspiring for myself and I'm assuming you to see those young people increase their confidence and competence over 2 days.
Absolutely. And I think I was saying to someone this morning that there was a couple that I thought, these guys, I don't know how much they're going to get out of it. But it's always those that they sort of go, wow, that was amazing. That was, groundbreaking and life-changing. You go, yeah, this is a good thing to do.
Yeah, some really lovely handshakes and hugs last night after our, I suppose it's exponential experience of jamming in a lot of information over 2 days.
It was a big few days.
We can make this bigger and better next year.
Absolutely. We already have plans. We've got meetings planned for next week to do a roundup of it and where we're going next year. But it's our pilot. We'll be doing it every year from now on. And covering the Pilbara, the Kimberley and the Gascoyne, and welcoming people from all across Australia.
Oh, incredibly.
For this unique type of event.
A unique event and a great event for the young leaders coming up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well done, Bron and the KPCA team.
Thank you very much. It's a team effort and we're all very proud.
Holly Ludeman here and having a chat to Lux Lethbridge from Warrawagine Cattle Co. Lux, you're a 5th generation farmer, producer, worked all over the top end of Australia.
I have spent my entire life dedicated, born and bred into the Australian cattle industry through generations, and just dedicated our whole life to the cattle industry, I suppose. And the older I get, the more I realise that we've got to help the young people coming into our industry.
Well, on that note, we were at the KPCA Leadership Forum, and I know a big part of that forum was driven by your passion for training and empowering young people. How important do you think events like yesterday were?
Holly, I think yesterday's events, thanks to the KPCA for making it happen, those events, be of whatever nature, that can get these young people that have been nominated as future leaders of our industry to bring them together to share their thoughts, goals, passions, their worries, concerns. That's the big one. Like, we don't spend a lot of time speaking about issues. We always speak about the good things, but there's always a lot of bad things. And just getting these young people together to know that they're all there are all like-minded people and similar in what they're doing.
Yeah, it was great to see the networking from the groups yesterday, and they learned a lot about themselves with some, I suppose, personality profiling and then some leadership from the different presenters. Did you hear any good stories from them around the dinner table?
Oh yeah, Holly, they a lot of them. One of the big comments that came out of it was about personal reflection. That was when Stuart held the mirror up.
Yeah.
That really, a couple of big comments came back from that. They didn't realise when you're working a team of people, it's you first to get the best out of them. And that was personal reflection was a big one yesterday. Yeah.
And if they're stepping up to that next role in the station from leading hand to head stockman, is that type of skill set, obviously that's going to be critical and under pressure.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to, when you're under pressure, you've got to make sure you're up foremost and up front before you can transfer that onto your people, and then they'll follow you along.
Yeah. So they asked, I know you were on a panel yesterday as well, talking about, what your values and what you think leadership is. How's it evolved for you over the years?
Oh, I think it's just working extensively across Northern Australia, just looking at different operations and our own operations. And it's just, you see young people thrust into high profile positions or high pressure positions with not a lot of support. That's probably a little bit unfair on everybody, but knowing that there is a group of people out there that they can speak to get help. And quite often it's not me as their boss or as their manager, it's somebody, might be yourself, Holly, or somebody like that they can assimilate to, because we put these kids to work, and because they're such an integral part, or I shouldn't say kids, they're young men and women, they're such an integral part of our business that we tend to forget that sometimes that they're humans too, and need some careful guidance. And seeing that throughout the top end of Australia, I think, it's sort of a focus we should go toward, is guide these young men and women through their career paths in the industry.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of focus on specific skills, motorbikes, helicopters, horses. And so these, I don't want to call them soft skills, but leadership skills they got yesterday, I think adds another layer to their ability to move up, but also manage your resilience, stress, the things that go with living and working remotely.
Yeah, definitely, and the leadership skills one is, we can all do the blisters-on-hands stuff. Yeah. If you show some natural ability in leadership or aspirations to want to move forward, that it is a big step, and to know that there is people there that can guide you and help you make those decisions to which direction you'd like to go, because our industry is full of so many different avenues that 90% of us don't even really know half of them.
Yeah, I think I got some of that yesterday, even just getting to chat to each of the participants and all their different backgrounds. And there was some great stories of people that have come from the city and come out here and never left, or grown up in the rural industry their whole lives and have moved their way up. And a lot of them reflected on they hadn't necessarily seen themselves as leaders. They'd shown initiative and moved up. And do you think that's the type of leaders you're seeing the Kimberley or the North seems to develop?
Yeah, I think so. Leadership's natural, it's not taught. And you just look for the early signs, and these kids, they know it's in there. Yeah. The few, and there's, or I shouldn't say few, there's probably a lot. But they don't know how to bring it out. And we as owners, managers, bosses, whatever you want to call us, have probably got a skill set starting where they did, but learn to recognise early that some of these kids just need that little push to say, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
And give them an opportunity to step up into a world where they might want to be, but find out that it is very uncomfortable for the first God knows how long, and I've got a second year, third year head stockman and a first year head stockman this year, and the difference is just phenomenal between the two young men,
Yeah, interesting. I got asked on the panel yesterday my advice for young people, and my comment was get comfortable with being uncomfortable. What would your advice to this crew and the next lot that do this course be?
Yeah, same. It's just ask questions, talk. You know, it's because we spend, and then we've got to be very careful we don't spend a lot of time on the uncomfortable or the comfortable. We've just got to guide them to where their niche is, where they fit, how they fit, because they're all individuals. They'll never be me, they'll never be you. And they look at myself or you or another head stockman or a manager and say, I'd love to be like them, but they'll never be like me or they'll never be like you. We have to help them find themselves, to find their style or their technique or their life, to how they're going to mould themselves to be able to mould other people.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a lot of what was developed in the team yesterday as well. So this course has been a great success, from what we experienced. Would you like to see it again next year, and how should it develop from here?
Oh, most definitely, Holly. I think it's something that these young men and women will go away from here and think about it. I'd love to see it, here, but I'd like to see it go Australia-wide, at least across the top end of Australia where it's the most intense, but there is head stockmen and leading hands all over Australia. We're not an exclusive club in Northern Australia. We're somewhat isolated, but I believe that the skills are pretty much similar, no matter whether you're dairy. Even I'd like to go into some of there's young men and women that are leading hands and that onto big farming. That the skill sets are still the same. We're still leading a team, whether we're working cows or driving tractors or earth moving machinery. The skill sets, as far as leading, are still pretty similar or very similar as far as mindset and working humans. Anyone can drive a tractor once they're taught, but it's the human skill set to get that person to get out of bed every day and do it. I think I'd love to see this go on. I'd love to see these young men and women get hold of this whole idea and guide it themselves now, and to move forward and take it forward. And not my generation now, we're on the other end of our deal, as these young people now start to see, we can organise some of this stuff and do it, and let's make this happen,
Absolutely. I think that's empowering them to take control and develop the skills that they'd like to see going forward.
Yeah.
So huge shout out to the KPCA who put this together, and I know you've been a big part of that organisation, and they've been integral in making it happen. Yeah,
that's right, and thanks to Bron and her team, and Beck, Bell, they came, we've been talking about it, and I've been talking about it for quite a while, and then we said, why don't we do this, and then the team embraced it and said, righto, let's do it, and in 8 weeks they went from scribbled a few notes on a bit of paper to look what happened yesterday. There was 60 odd people in that room, and it was amazing team effort, and key drivers, Bron obviously, and young Beck, she did a lot of the early groundwork, a lot of the just the touchy-feely stuff to get it out there, and get people thinking about it, and it's full credit to the KPCA to make it happen, and I think it will be an integral part of the northern beef industry in years to come, particularly in WA, but I'd love to see it go across the top end of Australia. Incredible to see the amount of young people that signed up at a pretty busy time of year. So I think that's a credit to how it was put together and the type of presenters that we had for them. So thank you so much, Lux, for sharing that, and hopefully we get to see you again and do this again next year. Holly, you never know where we end up, but that's right, droughts and fires and floods, and hopefully it rains, and I'd like to see it go on. I'd like to think I wasn't part of it next time. I'd like to think the young people take hold of it now. It was just a vision, I suppose. I wouldn't like to say a dream, but a vision to make this happen, and it's happened. And let young people look at it now and say, this is for us. Why can't we do this? And that's where I would love to see it go. Excellent. That sounds like a great vision for the future. Thanks, Lux. No worries. Thanks, Holly. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to this episode of Behind the Collective, and for listening to the stories about the Head Stockpersons Leadership Forum that KPCA ran. Now, this episode was proudly sponsored by Milne Feeds, and there was a number of other really important sponsors who we'll list in the show notes.
It was a great collaboration with the Livestock Collective and KPCA, but for full transparency, I also work for Milton Feeds. The Livestock Collective is a non-for-profit organisation focused on empowering the supply chain and providing information to the wider community. If you value what we do, please like, share, subscribe, or considering sponsoring us or sponsoring an episode like this yourselves.